And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second match of the last playday of the fifth qualifier, which again is a lot of numbers, but I'm sure we can handle it. I am Intrinsic, and I am joined, as ever, by Ted Meister on the observation crew today. Killing it. Killed it first match. Gonna kill it even more, I bet.
Meister, do you have a mic?
And with me on the mic will be Cash. Cash, how are you?
I am living it up, my man. How about yourself?
I'm doing A-okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure the teams are actually being heard now, so hopefully don't say anything too crazy.
Oh,
But-
absolutely.
We're gonna be getting right into it in about 3, 2, 1. There we go. And I'm gonna try to time this as perfectly as I was able to do it the first time. I think I nailed it again. You can't see
Yeah.
this, Cash, but I just beautifully put it. It's Clubhouse. I'm pretty sure it's because they saw me like freak out last time when I thought like we went to Coast, I think, and somebody said it was the wrong map. So they're trolling me. I am not above being trolled, apparently. That's just par for the course at this point. But the first ban, almost immediately, Revenue are going to get rid of Maverick. What do you think about that?
Maverick is, I want to say, definitely a good ban. You want to say it's default, not particularly, because of the fact that CC is held as quickly as it is. It's one of the almost default sites now since the map got the rework. And without an exothermic charge, without any X-Kyroses, how are you gonna get nice? Using that blowtorch to gain main entries as they're considered hatches, main walls. He's definitely pivotal, especially we've seen a lot of pushing in dirt over the past couple of days, which is the dirt tunnel leading all the way into now EMP is no longer being on the board. Electro Claws always consistently on through along with the Echo ban here. Nothing too surprising, I think.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw this right back to you because I got to do bans really quick. So the Echo and Kaid ban, which are really interesting considering the fact that Thatcher have been taken off the board. Do you kind of want to read into that a little bit more?
Absolutely. So Kaid, I said previously in our last game of Okami versus Ancient, and that is with the Electro Claws, you risk far less exposure. There's a plentiful amount of hatches on this. They are consistently on through each site. So with the Electro Claws, you don't need to risk overexposure being too wide. You toss them up onto hatches, and it's an excellent prevention. Unfortunately, Mute Jammers just simply do not reach that far. And Bandit doesn't have the ability to walk on ceilings, surprisingly enough. So having that operator no longer amongst the board of ones that can be chosen is definitely a useful pick there. Echo been a pretty consistent NA ban overall. The Yokais are very strong at halting executions overall, winning rounds themselves, and without having an IQ on the lineup, it can be detrimental to especially your late phase execution, your late phase rounds. We will go to Cash CC at one of the primary sites, that and Church and Armory all the way down in the basement on completely opposite side of the map, or opposites, vertically. That is, and this site can be played 1,000,001 different. I think with Maverick no longer, being able to be picked for the attacking lineup, you're going to see exothermic charges. You're going to see X-Kyroses go on out. What you do see, Buck, who possesses the skeleton key, can go underneath and prevent any form of tricking, whether it be with Mute Jammers or Bandit charges themselves. So it all depends as to how consistent and how communicative a team is, because you can push from gym, or at least gym side of the map, garage, or just simply up red.
Yeah, and I was thinking about bumping in and saying that you can throw back to me because I felt like I was torturing you. You had to talk for so long.
A little bit, and I know.
But you were killing it. You were killing it. I'm
Thank
like,
you.
I don't want to ruin this beautiful thing he has going on right now.
I appreciate that.
But what we're going to be seeing now is a fairly interesting setup, but it's also kind of common. We do see the Twitch from Mex, which, given the current bans, is going to be really interesting to see whether or not they're going to use that to prevent the bandit trick, as Motive going to be the lone roamer using the intel that he has. And I don't believe his camera has actually been seen out, even though it has been the target of much consideration from the side of Bra at this point. But the first HP going to be going all the way down for Thumbus, as it is going to be Alto to get the first pick of this match, and it's going to be Thumbus off the board. So already with about half of the round gone in round one, we're already going to see a player down, and It's not going to be too much HP off of the Goyo either, so it's going to be really in the favor of Revenue, and it's going to even continue as Motive able to get a pick onto Mex.
Absolutely. Motive really enjoys that bottom portion stairs there. However, Anthony will be there to punish. Anthony charging up a nade here, looking to try to get the floor bang there. I actually no HP off of Sonar. That was unexpected. I thought that it was going to be enough to eliminate him, as it was kind of perfectly placed and timed, but LeBron going on with the Hibana X Kairos is onto Cash Wall. Sonar's going to be lonesome by himself, holding it with the assistance of a Goyo shield. He does also possess his Nitro. However, tossing that and not getting elimination then upsets the fact that it is, plant denial. Anthony going for the second set of nade here, not successfully getting the Goyo shield. I'm kind of waiting for a nade to hit that Goyo shield and set off the fires throughout the whole entire site. It's unfortunate when it happens. I just get a kick out of seeing it, but site will effectively be opened up. We see the second phase of drones go on through.
Yeah, and now that I've seen Motive, who was able to get a 2K, I believe, earlier this round, I just want to bring up how these teams have done on Clubhouse historically, but before then we're going to be into the execute, as it's going to be an even 3-on-3 split, as the Bucks is going to be rushing in. It's going to be out to go for double, and it's going to be Nosk to be able to secure the last one on the Levron. Revenue securing 1-1, and it's going to be outside with a 3K, and I think it's Motive with only 1, because I think Motive was able to come up on the blue stairs and get 1. So we're not quite sure. I'm sure we'll see the scoreboard, but Motive got 1, Auto got 3. Yeah, so I was a little bit mistaken. Motive only was getting 1, but the last time we saw him, let me just refer back to my notes a little bit. It was against Run It Back, and they were able. I got to take better notes, I feel. But against Run It Back, Motive was like scary. Motive was just all over the place, able to secure picks wherever he went, and I think actually Run It Back was able to secure it, but it was in overtime or something like that. Either way, very good team on Clubhouse. They've gone to it 12 times for Revenue, and they have won it 83% of the time, as opposed to Bra going to this 11 times and only winning 54%. So in terms of just on paper, Clubhouse should go in the favor of Revenue, but another thing that this paper is telling me, it whispers into my ear, that both of these teams, while being tied for 4th in this qualifier 5 out of the span of all 4 other qualifiers, Bra actually has the advantage sitting in 11th place as opposed to the 12th place of Revenue. So in terms of pure stats, this map could really go either way. So that was just a fancy saying, or a fancy way of saying I literally have no clue what's going to happen.
Sure. Well, we have seen Dirt Tunnel be an overall menace consistently through and through. Mute Jammer will get tossed on in. Sonar's gonna at least linger around the area with a shotgun, but they're now just getting to church reinforcements. I didn't know if that was gonna be left unopened or if that was part of the strat. I was very much so interested in see how that would fan on out. Otto doing definitely some decent picks there with the TCSG, and Trines is gonna be holding on utility room at the bottom of blue here. You don't see any ADSs at the moment. It might just be ADSing later on after they get their first round of utility kind of spent towards his way. Mex looking to try to get Hatch Gun going through, as spotting any black eyes, any nitros that are going to be pre-placed in the kitchen. And it's pretty standard take overall. It's pretty spread out, over just consistently. You have one another watching each other's crosses, but excellent map domination thus far as we are at the 2-minute mark. And I don't believe there's any roamers for Revenue here to kind of, at least delay.
Yeah, but we are going to see Nosk lose a lot of HP, and maybe that's due to the fact that Bra was able to get onto site, or onto the place to be able to look into site at least. With enough time to start clearing out, Nosk, I believe, was trying to play for the impact trick. It's going to be Sonar now, getting aggressive onto this basement hallway, throwing out the C4, unable to get any HP off of any of the players from Bra. So now it's going to be Anthony opening up next to this kitchen hat, and the C4 is coming out from Motive, the player that I hyped up earlier, and he is going to be securing the first round of this, the first kill of this round, as Alta adding on to Thumbus, as Levron able to secure the kill onto the Maestro, who is really lit, very low on HP earlier, but It's going to be a 3v4 now coming into the last minute and change. What do you think about that, Cash?
Already with a body advantage and HP advantage. I say that and out. Now, the only one I don't that can win just strictly HP basis, LeBron on one-on-one engagements is going to have to land a headshot if they want anything to follow on through. Now, Sonar did get spotted here in dirt. However, he doesn't have to overexpose. He doesn't have to peek anything. He's got the SMG-12 ready in hand for the drop if they were to do so, or any of the late phase execute portions here. Shrines backing off from utility room up in church, kind of picking behind bomb angle here. At the last 30 seconds, it's going to be a lot of communication, a lot of relay, a lot of droning, but not a whole lot going on. All Mex and a few other bodies are going to be pushing on down main stairs. Yeah, Jay's going to be watching through hatch as a kind of a cross support. One flashbang going out will be eliminated by Sonar with the SMG-12. Sonar going large. That's the Habana and Diffuser no on the board. Mex by himself below church hatch, and Revenue will close out round 2.
Let me write my notes and I'll kind of break down what we saw there.
Sure.
The M590 is a really good gun. That's about it. That's about it. That's pretty much all I got to say.
Good noise.
But in terms of the kills, Auda doing very well, and Motive only with 2, and Motive the player. I want to see if I actually have his kill number. Normally, like, he really went large, but I don't think I actually wrote it down. Motive was at 9 at one of the rounds. I know that's really descriptive. I should probably be a little more specific on my notes, so I apologize for failing you guys there. But Jim, Bedroom, one of it's the third site we see on CCTV the majority of the time. What do we expect to see from Church?
From Church or
from Jim, sorry. No, what do we
I don't
expect
know what
to
you
see
want.
from Church
I'll
while we're
analyze.
on Jim? Talk about Church. We're on Jim.
I mean, I will. With Jim, however, you have to expect a castle. You have to expect Bandit or Mute, Electro Claws. But the fact that that's no longer, a basis to be chosen, you need some form of counter. As Jacuzzi Wall is right there for the attackers, just about a short little walk in the park from spawn there. And Exothermic Charge is definitively the objective to go on that wall, as that opens up the 90 leading on to both sites. And you can go as far as even opening up Bathroom and progress even further. With that being said, it's more of a spread out defense, more of a spread out hold, as you're going to see bodies cash room holding up server, as attackers are going to kind of split off and push through Jim. So this is one of those that your style of play, your theme of play is going to be demonstrated here, as you can have only one body on site because they're so spread thin, they're so fanned out, equivocally speaking, that you don't need to stress out about having the lonesome anchor be your crutch in the round. As we do see Anthony with the skeleton key open up logistics, progress on over to the cash room side. It's going to be the objective here, as we already see all bodies kind of leaning in the way of trying to take CC Balk.
And Cash, I do have an interesting proposition for you. I have been offered by one of the coaches that was working in Challenger League about the same time as I was, Bryce, or he was coaching DG. Are you interested in having him in here to provide us a little bit more insight, or even chat if you're interested on whether or not you want Bryce to give some insight into this match? Let me know, and whenever this delay wears off, I'll be able to catch up. But what about you, Cash? What do you think?
I'd be thrilled, honestly, having that kind of inside opinion, especially one with the series end. Mex will get the first elimination. Nosk the Jaeger going to fall. Mex going underneath, trying to get a second, and he gets a floor bang. That's Sonar the Mute that will fall. What an excellent shot from underneath. Not even an electric device in hand to signify where he's at. Mex just going for the elimination solely off of a ping, perfectly landing it on through. That's a 2-body advantage with 1:20 left on the round.
Yeah, and we are going to be coming into the last minute and change, like I said a little bit earlier, and it's going to be a solid man advantage in the favor of Bruh at this point, and it's really solid to see them, and the C4 coming out is going to bring it a little bit closer. Motive adding on for the second. It's going to be a 3-on-3 now in the last minute. Exactly. I had to wait for that one. That was a little bit build up, a little bit suspense. Sure. And I think it worked out. I think it was perfect. But now it's going to be Jay into a close contention with Motive. Motive is just around the corner as the buck opening up a little bit more. Jay is right there. He's right there. Motive, oh no. He's going to get at least one. And he's going to get the double, the triple kill for Motive at this point. Holy moly. Motive is starting to wake up, and it is a scary proposition when Motive starts to wake up.
Absolutely. Progressing on from Cash Room onto really not much to say there. Motive will clean it up. Progressing on through construction, but that tight angle will be the death of him, and that is New picking up another round for themselves.
Yeah, and that was scary. So I think we're gonna get Brycer in here. I'm gonna just see if he's able to hop in here. I think he's actually in Europe, so his time might be a little bit different. I don't know what he's doing up this late or even early. I copied the wrong link. In a second, we'll get him here in a second.
Working with different time zones, definitely an interesting challenge that we face in this world of production, casting, anything of sorts. But 3-0 in the way of revenue. Now, this is considered a defensive half, so if Sabra was to bring it back 3-3, they would be very much so at a strong participation here. If they were to bring at least a half to a 4-2, they could be confident going into the second half. But if we see too many rounds be put onto revenue, it might be just enough morale boost to give them the momentum they need to close it out in a quick succession of rounds. I think overall, Brun needs to kind of clean up what's going on at the time here. There is, I don't know if it's not thorough enough communication play. The drones are going out. They're just not simply picking up what needs to be at least expected. Because of the fact that we saw in the first round, drones went out top of red. Red was not called. Buck ran straight on into sight. It was an easy punishment. We see Motive absolutely punishing the lack of thoroughness here, as he does, I believe, have the highest amount of kills for the game thus far. And he's going to be trying to get those cheeky black eye cams outside for more information, see about any hop outs, not overly aggressive moves when you have that kind of information to justify it.
Okay. I've been busy trying to secure Brycer into this, so it's going to be a good time, but with 30 seconds gone, it's going to be really quiet. We're going to start working on getting the CCTV wall open, and that's really the majority of this, and I do think Brycer just got in here. I have to turn him up a bit because he was silent. Brycer,
oh, yeah, no problem. Can you hear me all right?
Okay, you're a little loud, but yes, we can actually hear you now. Welcome, Brycer. How are you?
Good. It's an interesting game so far.
Yeah. I'm dying, but it really seems to be revenue is kind of in the lead at the moment. We're sitting at 2 minutes even, 1 minute 59, and Sonar is going to get a pick onto Thumbus, and hopefully it's going to be Brycer getting synced up with us. So we'll give him a few rounds in a little bit as soon as he feels comfortable enough to cast. And the man advantage in the favor of revenue at this point. What do you make of that, considering the fact that they're sitting at CCTV, one of the sites that they were able to pull away in round one?
Well, so far the CCTV attack looks fairly weak from Bruh. They're not running the operators I would assume would be needed here. Capitao, as far as I'm aware, isn't banned, and he hasn't been played much at all. And he's obviously very powerful on this site. So first round, obviously, they ran a Twitch because they 6-picked off a mirror, which obviously is an okay move, but I think the Capitao is much more effective to kind of deny plant, to get the plant down and stop the defenders denying it.
Yeah, and it's going to be a flurry of kill nows as Levron able to get a pick onto Motive. That is the player we've seen go huge time and time again, and it's going to put the man advantage in the favor of Bruh, immediately taken away by Nos because he's able to get a pick on a J, meaning that it'll be the... I'm not quite sure which operator that was, but the HP in the favor now of revenue, meaning that they're going to be able to secure this, I feel, handedly. We've seen a few throws on CCTV throughout the CL quals, but they're in a position now with the utility to kind of sit back, and they do have very potent weapons to use as well.
Absolutely. As we approach the 30-second mark here, now LeBron is sitting at a very low HP and does have possession of the Fuser, meaning any one shot or Goyo shield flame hits him, he's going to be dropping that diffuser and no longer able to get that execute going. Nas watching him over the balcony, using the fact that deployable shields are now just mini mirrors at this point, but the two GSG operators sticking side by side. Buck doing an excellent job. Anthony watching the cross. Will tag some shots onto Jaeger. Eliminate shrines. It is all up to Jaeger, who dropped underneath through hatch. He's going to be running on down, but not quick enough to stop and try to floor bang the planter. He's rotating on through garage, looking through that rotate, seeing if any punishment will be easy enough to go through. Runs out, stops the claymore, and does punish LeBron for taking out the repel angle. Anthony sitting at 100 HP and with such a potent AR in the hands of Buck, he's going to close out the round.
And that'll be the first round going in the favor of Bruh. What do you feel about that, Brycer, in terms of what we saw there?
Well, I was a little bit scared for Bro when I found that the diffuser was actually out on CCTV balcony. So it meant that the person in garage couldn't just plant behind server rack with the cover from balcony. The guy balcony, you actually had to see him run in past the doorway. He got lit up slightly, but the kill was not taken. But that was a large risk for them to take. Fortunately, it worked out well. But I think it was Jaeger there that slightly missed some shots. If he kills them on the cross, then the round obviously goes against Bro. So they got a little bit lucky there, but well executed in the 2v2. Buck playing really well to put some pressure on you, to put some pressure on the defenders there. I was wondering, what's your time right now, just so we can sync up?
I'm sitting at 3 seconds to 1, and that was the 6th pick phase, and we are just waiting for the round to start. Maybe that wasn't quite the best time to do it. We'll get it back.
I think we should be good now, but
all right. So we'll get you some play-by-play. I feel get you a little bit into it.
Yeah, more here for the analytical side, but.
Yeah, I mean, as a coach, which team are you coaching now? Tell us a bit about yourself. I know Cash and I have worked together a bit, so the stream's a little more familiar with him, but we haven't quite talked to you yet. So tell us a bit about yourself in the first part of this round.
Well, so the first major coaching was Organized Chaos, the team with Faults and Merc and Factor and them that unfortunately didn't qualify for PL, but came very close. Coached Disrupt for a while, but unfortunately moved to the EU, so could no longer coach Disrupt effectively. And now coaching a Spanish nationals team in EU. We're looking quite strong. Just had a boot camp for 7 days in Spain, so should be impressive stuff from us, hopefully in Spanish nationals. But I do miss NA every once in a while. Much more exciting.
Yeah, I mean, when the teams change every other week, it tends
exactly.
to be excited. But
a bit more of a frag fest.
Yeah. Motive. And speaking of frag fest, you've picked no better time to mention that. Motive sitting on 7 kills in round 5, which is only 2 shy of when I wrote down he had 9 in the last match that we watched with them. And he's going to be playing a Pulse, which is not necessarily known for his fragging capabilities, because the UMP is one of those weapons that a lot of people feel is subpar at the moment. But with his utility of the heartbeat scanner as well as the C4, he does make for a really well-rounded operator.
Yeah, obviously Pulse super strong on this side because it forces the defenders to be very wary in kitchen while doing buck work and even on main stairs. Now with the IQ taken out for the Ash, obviously you can't be so sure where the Pulse is actually playing, so it's going to rely on some good drone work. Again, I question the choice of running the Ash instead of something like a Capitao or a Valkyrie. IQ to deny the Valkyrie, but we'll see if it works out for them. Maybe Mex can show us why he picked Ash here.
Yeah, and we are going to be actually quite a bit in the round, 1 minute and 20 seconds in, and it's going to be only Buck down, and that'll be Anthony, who I think actually was the victim of the C4 that we didn't see any or catch anybody earlier through the floor, and it'll be the mute playing down there as Ash going to be trying to clear out the ADSs, so I believe Buck can actually drop a frag grenade down there. No, she's actually just going to do it solo and go for the Ash breach, and that'll be the Goyo shield. That was a bit of an issue for the Execute last time Brow tried to attack this site, but they're going to get it out earlier, meaning that it's going to be all up to the hold from, or a more conventional hold from the actual 2 sites. And as Anthony gets a pick on a shrine, so that's what we expect to see in the Execute, Cash.
Absolutely. So we're going to see a lot of vertical plays here, not a lot of progression here from Raw, but if they're trying to play as many holes as they can. They really did put the skeleton key to use, try to use as much soft destruction as possible, get the angles, try to punish as much overexposure as humanly possible. Thumb is pushing on through, looks to be garage storage stairs, watching over utility. Now that's an interesting angle that we've seen punish players and players before, especially with the gun that Ada possesses, which is the slug shotty of Goyo. Anthony's trying to toss the second nade here, was successful with the first. I think ADS will pick it on up, but they're going to have to get into at least the early phases of the Execute. Otto picking up 2, including a teammate. Nazca will be there with a follow-up as Sonar, as it is a 3v2. Ash's Insight will be dropped again by Sonar. Yajay will be on a refrag with Auda. It is a 1v2. He's got 100 HP, can win his one engagement, but with 14 seconds left, he will be peaked, and Revenue will close out the round.
What do you make of that Execute and how it exactly turned out in the favor of the defenders, Brycer?
Well, I think the first mistake for Bro was the take of blue. Quite often, there didn't seem to be enough drone intel. The guy, I think it was Goyo, was sitting in the corner, and they had no drone intel, and there was a nade above, and the ADS had actually been cleared by Zofia to open up that long angle. but if they had some drone intel, then there's a free grenade kill there. And when they push down, they're quite close together, allowing the attackers to basically be pushed into a small corner and fragged out by the Maestro and the Goyo combination. Obviously, Goyo taking a teammate down with him, but it worked out for the defenders really well there. I think so far they're showing that they're playing the intel game much better, and they seem to have much better spacing, which seems to be an issue on the attack here. Another thing, yeah. Oh, I was just going to talk about Thumbus real quick. Just because I obviously coached Thumbus for a while on DG, and funnily enough, he was one of the first players I ever coached, even before Organized Chaos, and I saw lots of potential in him there. But right now in this system, he doesn't seem to be fitting in too well. Obviously, he's been the first pick a lot. There doesn't seem to be very good droning from the support players, and he's peeking angles without much intel behind them, causing his early death a lot. And if he stays alive late round, I believe he can have a much higher impact. But so far, we haven't seen that on the attack of Clubhouse.
In terms of as a caster crew, we might have to start using names in our throws just to make it a little easier on us.
Oh, yeah,
I'm willing to accept that. I will quickly follow up and say I wholeheartedly agree. I feel like it's more mechanical than methodical. The communication relay simply is not there. Overall, it looks to be his revenue is just more coordinated. They're more flexible, more fluid with what's going on. They understand what the push is, what the execute's going for, and is there to just quickly either punish or reciprocate a counter strat. LeBron will pick up the first elimination. That's Motive, the highest fragger right now for revenue, and that's a Nitro. However, that body being off the board can watch the black eye cams a little bit more effectively. However, still the body that quickly, and that's your depth roamer, is not going to play in too well. They've already got the first exothermic charges. Yeah, Jay will open up main breach leading on into CC. It looks to be a little bit more coordinated from Bruh overall in these moments. You see the secondary drones going on now, a lot of utilities being spent in the right positions. One of my biggest things is I don't like utility not being utilized. So of course you can toss all three of your flashbangs, but if you don't engage or do anything with it, it's not really living up to the true potential it has. And right now, revenue's kind of rotating, I feel, just to supplement what's going on.
Yeah, Sonar, obviously, they're opening up the window. He didn't immediately go for the run out, but it makes the attackers really think about where their positioning is and whether they can be run out on, and it can be used late round. Leveron, they're trying to burn the ADSs by throwing them up. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. I think they're both still up as far as I'm aware. They should be burned pretty soon, but if Sophia's going to try and stun this, then this is going to be tough, or even naded. This is where I think the Capitao would be very useful. I'm fairly certain he's not banned, so if they flame him off here would be very useful. Though a lovely pick by Yerjay. Alda really didn't seem aware that Thelma had pushed that far in, and with no lounge presence, really tough there. Obviously, the Vault Cam intel gave Nosk a kill there. Runs out on the Zofia. Done. And Mex takes a pick here, so we should be seeing another round for the attackers.
Yeah, and at this point, we're going to see Shrines able to get one on the Leveron. That'll be the Bandit starting to wake up a bit. Motive off the board, so it's going to be all up to Sonar and Shrines to be able to secure this round against 3. The C4 is going to be going out towards default, and we'll get one on Anthony as Sonar starting to rotate down to underneath. And the Ash will be down too. It's all up to Jay now on the Thermite. He has 2 to find, 1 underneath and 1 still in sight. I believe his 1 C4 still on the board, so he is probably going to go for the pickup now at this point. And he will probably also be going for the plant. But again, the C4 utility underneath is going to be a very dangerous propositions, as Sonar all he has to do is just wait. But no, he's actually going to rotate up. It's going to be Yaji pushing in, trying to get the frag on the Bandit. It's going to be Mex able to get one on the Shrines. It's going to be Bruh to secure it, which is something that I did not expect at all. Mex going huge after being down on the Shrines and Sonar. Meaning it's going to be a 4-2 split on Clubhouse, rather, so not the most uncommon thing I've ever seen in my life, but definitely one that has happened in a very unconventional way.
Yeah, obviously slightly concerning, which is the rounds that Bruh won often came down to a close clutch or a 2v2, something like that, whereas the other team, what's their name, sorry? I saw it.
It's Bruh and Revenue.
Revenue, sorry. I keep thinking Katsu because of Nosk, but they obviously won those rounds much more convincingly. But an uncoordinated team that Bruh seem to be a little bit right now, they can often work much better on defense because you can make plays much more easily on your own.
Yeah, and we're not going to see the side switch, which Clubhouse being one of those maps that is generally considered one of the defender favored maps, and CCT one of those sites that is a very interesting site just due to the fact that defenders are normally more comfortable. And again, there's just something that I preach in terms of how sites work, that sites that are more popular for defenders are sites that the attackers are going to have the most experience on. So over time, that results in the meta shifting from which sites are best and which maps are what attacker sided or defender sided. And it really just depends on how many times the sites are played and how well each of the teams are prepared to go into it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It seems to be a fairly standard setup right now from Bruh. The castle obviously being the outlier. Assume some castles down below to try and hold some lobby presence later into the round. Obviously with 2 C4s so far it looks like with Levron, and yeah, this could be a good strategy, but obviously Levron should be playing upstairs to bandit trick, so they have 1 C4 down below with the mute if they're playing that. I actually haven't seen the castle placement, so this could be something new.
Yeah, right. And we already have mechs sitting on janitor stairs. Already a pushings be coming out from the bottom blue. Drones will be droning in through stock. Motive looking to see if he can get secure the first pick. But an interesting angle mechs here as the castle. The UMP, of course, not the one-on-one engagement gun most people want to be caught with. But Jay is close there to kind of supplement this split push here. Will be stunned. Not committing, however, to Zoe is not hopping on in. Not the first easy elimination. It would be a quick punish. As it is such a harsh angle to push there. But a lot of bodies are in garage, kind of scattering as the first exothermic charge will go on out to open up main breach leading on into CC.
And at that point, we're in a little bit of a disadvantageous position now for Bruh, as with that main wall being open and in a very rapid succession, only 1 minute and 20 off of the board, means that the attackers of Revenue are going to have plenty of time to figure out what exactly they want to do with their push. And as Yajay on the mute starting to push back into garage to support Jaeger on catwalks is gonna now be the victim of the wall being opened up as well in the garage. So even more utility being used to just prevent any of the comfortable positions that the defenders can be playing at the moment. And I just want to get a little bit more insight from you, Brycer.
Well, so far the defenders have played this really well. They played pretty passive, although obviously Sonar gets a great pick there. Castle holding the angle a little too deep. He could have played in the corner and waited for the vault in. Motive's going to play a really important role here. If they take garage control, then they can easily get the plant, although Levron taking great pick down below, and Sonar picking Thumbus on rafters. Yejay getting the C4 on Sonar. This is turning into a frag fest. Obviously, 1 minute left, so still plenty of time for the attackers. I think this could go to the attackers, unless Smoke does something heroic here with his smoke grenades. I think we're about to see the push in from Motive, or at least he should soon. But although with garage control, they can go for the plant behind the server rack. So Smoke's going to have to hold off this plant for as long as possible, or Bandit's going to have to pick the guy on rafters before taking out the guy on the balcony.
What we're also seeing now is the drone game coming out even this late into the round means that the defenders are going to be even more in a disadvantageous position, because not only do they have to worry about the plant, as they have to worry about the other team knowing where they're coming from. As Shrine's going to be peeking towards the main metal stairs, so everyone's going to be able to get pick on an Alta, and that could be the kill that wins this round, but no, he's going to be too aggressive, and a flurry of kills as Motive able to secure another one onto Anthony. Is going to be all up to the C4. Now, actually, the shotgun, as the C4 is gone, the default plant is being revealed. All he had to do was wait for like 15 seconds, or 15, that's a little excessive, but 3 seconds more, he would have been able to prevent the plant. But now it's going to be going in a different position, and he doesn't know where. Now it's going to be a post plant. 2 players alive on this side of Revenue. It's going to be all up to Jay on the mute to try to secure this round in the favor of Bruh, which is looking to be a very daunting task indeed.
Absolutely. We see 2/4 of the diffuser time already eaten up. He has made his rotate upstairs, but some deep angles the attackers have chosen to kind of sit. They're not being overly aggressive. They're not being overzealous. Hey, stopping the reload as M59 will be able to damage or injure entirely Zofia. So going for the fake. With a quarter time left here, it's with that 7-second diffuser time. I don't think he's going to win this on out. Yes, the timer has been eaten too much, so Shrines will get a free elimination out of that.
Yeah, and that'll be the precipice of match point in the favor of Revenue at this point. And Revenue, of course, as we spoke to earlier, has an 83% win rate on Clubhouse. At the moment, it's kind of showing, although Motive kind of went a little quiet there for a bit, only just now in this round securing his 8th kill. As Sonar, who had a really successful round 7, will be pulling a little closer with 7. Just the frags in total, overall, as a team of Revenue, is so much more unilaterally good, as opposed to what we're seeing from Bruh, which has some players that are doing really well, but the rest of them are kind of struggling to find anything. I feel that that's more of Bruh winning their attacks as opposed to what, or Motive winning their rounds and their gunfights as opposed to Bruh just not being able to win them, because Revenue's looking scary with their weapons at the moment. And we are going to see a Monty, which on Church is something that we saw on the match with Run It Back. I believe that was Monday. And it was a double up push in Dirt. And as soon as Run It Back read into it, Revenue really had a hard time attacking this basement site. But it has been a few days, so maybe they've read into that. But in terms of this lineup, what do we expect to see, Brycer?
Well, on the side of Bruh, I mean, I talked about it a little bit earlier, but this is Thumbus, I think, still on 0 kills. I mean, if you just look at the names on the roster, he's probably the most talented in theory on the roster, and severely underperforming here on fragging roles as well. So he's getting picked apart usually with multiple crossfires, and he's not managing to do much about it. Obviously, part of this is lack of teammate support, but in the end, you've got to get some picks even if you do go down afterwards. So if he can step it up, I believe Bruh can take this. If he can turn into his form that he had during Challenger League and before that, then he can definitely play really effectively and maybe win some rounds for Bruh. Whereas right now, he's been completely shut down by Revenue, which is really unfortunate to see for him, but it's really good work from Revenue to shut down probably Bruh's best player.
Yeah, and Cash, do you have anything to add to that?
I wholeheartedly agree in that aspect. I mean, when it comes to underperforming for a certain player, I like to take potential in mind. I like to take the fact that it could be the day, it could be the map, could be just simply how Siege plays overall when it comes to the mentality, the mind games. Things just do not fan out as they always should. I try to take it with a grain of salt. Of course, this game can fan out in a black and white matter, but these rounds do not go as predicted. I, of course, am, and just when it comes to this Monty Sonar push of Dirt, it just blows my mind half the time. I see it actually going through, being successful. So, got nothing else to say besides I just want to see how everything carries on out.
Yeah, obviously Thumbus a little bit isolated here in blue. He's got holes to be helped from sight, although the ADSs are being burned, so if Nos can drop a nade behind there, he's going to go down to the nade. I do believe he's rotated slightly out, so that should save him a bit. But here you see the better drone intel from Revenue, because he moves slightly, they take away the nade, and he pushes back into position, which is really smart play from Thumbus, but no wasted nade. Obviously, the goo mines here being really effective in Dirt. I think if you add a smoke in there as well, this Monty is not going to get much done. So maybe they'll be rotating positions once the goo mines are done. Thumbus should be getting a kill here. Oh, he misses his shots. This is not the performance you want to see from him, obviously. He takes one down and gets traded instantly. That's really good play from Revenue.
Yeah, and while it's good to see the refrag coming out, it does mean that the man advantage is going to be in the favor of the defenders at this point. And the Monty is really still trapped in this Arsenal side, as the Hibana also going to be peeking out. And Jay doesn't seem to know that the one is rotated out. That's going to be a Monty off the board, and that's going to be a really good flurry of kills going into the favor of Bruh. It's going to be all up to Nosk now on the buck to try to secure 3 frags within 30 seconds or get the diffuser down and then successfully defend it, which they are probably synonymous at this point, as that's going to be what it takes for them to secure match point. But the potential of them doing that is now going to be at 0, as Bruh is going to secure it, as Jay getting a nice headshot onto Nosk, and that'll be the buck off the board. Very well done from them, and I think, Bryce, you kind of touched on it a little earlier, is that the Legion and Dirt is really forcing this Monty to have to wait and push back into Dirt because he just can't get out.
Yeah, and you did see that when he did push through, he hit another Legion mine and he was exposed in sight. So he just kept taking damage until he tried to take it out. And I think it was Jay that actually killed him with Doc there with a nice frag. I would like to point out that despite losing that round, Revenue seemed to have a much better blue take. You see 2 of them push Thumbus behind the blue rack. And one was pushing one side, one was pushing the other. Thumbus got 1 kill, but was instantly traded. No transfer 2 there. Whereas before, the guy in blue was really hard to take out from when it was Bruh on attack. So obviously, slightly more coordination. I think they've been playing together slightly longer, and you can see that here.
Yeah, and we're going to be going back to CCTV, which in its rocky past has kind of gone either way, depending on who is playing it. And how exactly the round plays out, it is kind of leaned in the favor of the defenders. Revenue winning it the first time, as Bro winning it the second time, but then Bro able to win it in round 8, I believe it was. No, I'm completely lost. It was actually Revenue who won it. That goes for to show that you really need to keep up to date with your notes. I stopped at round 7 and now I'm completely lost.
So now we're seeing the castle set up below again from Bruh. It wasn't too successful last time. I think part of that was from Castle getting a little too aggressive and they lost a lot of below presence. And Bandit also losing his C4 early, so once the walls opened up, he couldn't just rotate down below for the C4 because he didn't have any left. Obviously, Mute made a nice try at the clutch there in the 1v2 last time they played this. Hopefully, Bro will take some earlier picks this time. But they were a lot of Revenue were really good at getting all of the control last time. They had garage, they had server wall open, they had someone outside the window. That's really hard to win that round from the defense perspective unless you have a man advantage. So maybe they can take that early here.
Yeah, and I just want to hear a little bit from Cash on what he thinks that what Bruh needs to do specifically in terms of what operators they're using to kind of be able to counter the operators that Revenue has decided to bring again or differently.
Absolutely. I think the fact that a Twitch is on the board is guided, and the fact that Jay has been consistently on mute or smoke, and now that both operators, with the SMG 11 are on the board, I don't think it's going to be simply effective. Not as much as getting Motive, Zofia underneath, trying to open it up, prevent the bandit trick. It's just not what is, I think, appropriate for the situation that they've encountered, and I think it's gonna come back to haunt them unless they use that F2 as the high ROF DPS weapon that it is. As the other remaining attacking operators, I don't see a lot of Skeleton King right now. Overall, I think they're just now pushing on Dock, and with a minute 20, you really wanted to get going on that a little earlier. They are aware of all the way down in Arsenal, but letting him linger instead of either just committing or alternating as to what you're watching is, I feel like, just going to be a crippling matter in terms of how much time is on the clock.
Yeah, and speaking of time on the clock, we're going to be sitting at 1 minute, and it's going to be a 4v5 as Bandit of Levron going to be off the board. Kind of about halfway through this match. It's going to be Yajay, though. Still playing underneath, trying to get a pick from anybody trying to contest and operate from underneath, but Sonar's going to say, no, sir, we know exactly where you are, and that's going to be the mute off the board, and that is a C4 as well that could be played underneath and lounge to secure a frag, but, well, that's not there anymore. They're not going to be able to use it, but it's going to be Revenue at this point going for a very late push and a garage, which with only 30 seconds left is not a whole lot of time to work with, as now Sonar using the Twitch drone in the optimal way, just shooting the Jaeger there in the foot, bringing him down to about 10 HP. It's going to be Thumbus, though, getting a little too aggressive, and Alta's there to punish him for that. With 20 seconds left, though, it's going to be a 2v5, and, well, the utility is already coming out from the smoke to prevent the default plan. It's going to be Mex to get in an early gunfight with the player on garage stairs. The Shrine's able to refrag right back onto Mex. It's going to be a 1v3, or 1v4, rather, now. As Anthony on the smoke, going to be the last one alive. With no more smokes left, he's going to be able to get one. He's going to be going for two, and is unable to secure the second. That's going to be a match point in the favor of Revenue on Clubhouse.
Yeah, Bro obviously having a lot of issues defending here, the cache site. They seem to not really understand what areas of control they need and the timings to fall back. Obviously, they had some below control, but didn't waste enough time. So there was about 30 seconds left when the attackers took control of Garage, which is plenty of time left to go for the execute. Obviously, the two picks below were really, really important for the attackers. And then obviously Thumbus, he's not been playing well, but even in that situation, he's got about 3 people pushing Garage. So it's really hard for him to keep that control. Maybe playing a little more passive and wasting some more time would have been better. But in the end, he thought he had a free kill, but with 3 people peeking him, there was almost nothing he could do there.
Yeah, and we are going to be going to gym, so I did kind of throw you last time we were in gym. Cash, I'll throw you correctly. What are we going to see from this gym bedroom hold?
Absolutely. So, the jacuzzi is always a go-to, especially because the fact are on the lineup of utility. It's a go-to. It's why you see a castle. It's why you see a mute and so much utility in the direction of that portion of the map. But defenders are usually a little bit more spread out. Only 1 or 2 anchors, while 1 body's in logistics, 2 might be in cash room, or 1 might be cash, 1 might be CC server. It all depends as to, of course, how your team plays this out. But with Gridlock, believe this is the first time we've seen her today overall, having her stingers, her tracks, I think it's gonna be huge because of the fact that you can toss her piece of equipment onto stairwells and whatnot, prevent the flank, and prevent any of those late game rotates that do cripple an execution, especially when there's so many factors that can play in, especially on this site. It's so open, very small, very constricted. The fact that nitrocells, smoke, and evil eyes are able to be utilized in situations, it's a lot to play with. So preventing anyone from doing them rotates, late game flanks, and halting their fluidity, their flexibility is going to be enough to at least secure the fact that you can get a plant down if in an adequate position to do so.
Yeah, I'd like to point out that the defenders Bra have used 5 reinforcements over towards server, 2 on the server wall, 2 on cash wall, and then 1 at top metal. That's a lot. You usually see people decide between whether they want to reinforce cash wall or the server to balcony wall. So they've really put a lot of investment over there. So if they can hold that effectively, this could be a really, really strong defense. Although if the attackers play this right, they will open up Jacuzzi, open up Office Hatch, and go for more of a aggressive push there if they've read how much utility Bra have put over towards cash side.
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be a quick read for them to be able to do, but with the skeleton key in possession, I feel like it's kind of an inadequate use of that form of utility, not going underneath, trying to at least flood anyone out of bathroom or construction rotate. We don't see any bodies downstairs. It's your more traditional hold here from the defenders. As with a minute 30 opening up Jacuzzi, not in the fastest succession, not the quickest of paces, but it still gives attackers plenty of time here to work with it. And being in a match point scenario is nothing but an immense right now.
Sonar getting the pick on Levron. They've seemed to have gone for a split push here. Thumbus with a fantastic shot onto Sonar on Repel. Although they should be expecting this push from Thumbus. He's playing the bullet hole there, one of his favorite strategies. If he can keep control here when they go for the late execute and have to turn around, they could very easily be caught out by Thumbus. He gets another one here. Will he get a third here? It looks like he will. This is the round he needed to show up, and obviously Anthony getting the last 2 picks. A fantastic round by Thumbus and Cash, and Anthony finishing things off. That was the kind of hold I was talking about. Obviously, the 10-hit castle there, really important. He just runs out, gets 2 picks, and Thumbus keeping hold of Cash even after Levron goes down. That was well played on both sides. I do feel as if the attackers would have done better just focusing on Jacuzzi. But in the end, they pushed some people towards Cash, and those people were picked off by Thumbus, and in the end, they couldn't recover.
It has been an entire round since I've said something, and it was just because you two were having a beautiful cast on your own. I felt like I just can't interrupt that amount of beauty. But we will be going to Church Arsenal, which, if I review back into my notes, Bra won this site last time in round 8. The Legion mine directly countering the Monty play and Dirt, but if you do look at the operators that they are bringing, they do not have a Monty. So how are they supposed to do a Monty push in Dirt if they don't have a Monty? Now, granted, last time we saw them play against Run It Back, they did, in fact, do a Dirt push just without the Monty, and they were just trying to hope that their gun skills would be enough. But if memory serves, they did also lose that round.
Yeah, I would like to see if Thumbus gets some more support in blue this time. Obviously, he got pinched pretty hard last time, but I think Mex or if they can play the long angle from gun rack. So if someone does drop hatch or pushes down new blue, they can support him. He can only has to worry about one angle. That would be much more impressive. Hopefully, we do see that, because I think if they can keep control of blue, this round should be a lot easier. Obviously, they won it last time, so they were obviously hoping that they can do something similar. I want to see if the attackers ignore Dirt this time, because last time they pushed Dirt with Monty. Monty lost most of his health to Legion mines and ended up getting picked because he had to take the Legion mine out of his foot. So maybe that's why they abandoned the Monty. Let's see if they push Dirt anyway.
Yeah, what we're going to see now from Jay is actually a pretty aggressive Doc, which is something that we kind of joke about in the scene promoted to Doc, and it's just because he has the ability to play by himself and really just kind of forget his team on site. But it is going to be a complete top-to-bottom clear in the favor of Revenue, so it's going to be pretty good to make sure they're not going to be countered by a tricky roam.
See, there is a lot of bullet hole coming from Jay, leading on from utility room, but first exothermic charge will come out from Ada. in the traditional push for this lineup to go at least that revenue if they're able to do so. I don't want to say it's not a lot of map, but with 2 minutes in, no one with the depth roamer to prevent or time delay as much as possible. It's kind of lackluster. I feel like it should be punished with a lot more going on here. They're just now getting the vertical plays going, just now getting bodies pushing down blue. Sonar will kind of open up kitchen here using the IQ device, not seeing any C4s pre-prepped. Of course, that is a nuisance when you push on from that angle. A lot of secondary drones going on out. I think a determination factor here will be, will anyone follow up with what the drones are?
He kind of cut out there, but he was trying to say what the drones are doing or something like that. We'll figure out the cutout stuff. It is something that I've noticed a little bit more in this match more than anything, which is a little peculiar because you were just fine earlier. We'll figure that one out, but for now, it's going to be Thummus now losing all of his ADS. It's going to be the frag grenade from Nosk. And that'll be the Jaeger off the board. There's always a little bit of sweet irony when a Jaeger is killed by a frag grenade, meaning that he does actually have to worry about grenades now.
Yeah, obviously, I believe he was trying to ADS trick earlier, but it didn't work out in the end. Probably should have rotated away after the ADSs were burned. I believe someone is contesting the hatch, the holes here. I can't quite see who, but Buck pushing in. He has a really strong position here. If they can drone into Church, he probably gets a free kill on the Maestro. Motive with a fantastic wall bang. Buck pushing through, almost getting the kill on Levron. Levron turning around and killing him. Let's see if this dirt push comes through. There's 2 people in dirt. If they can take out these dirt players, the defenders should win this.
Cash, you want to take this one?
Sure, I'll take this one. All right, so sitting at match point, it is a 2 circumstantially good positioning. Anthony in 100 HP. Motive will pick up Mex. However, Revenue will close out the round.
Very well done from them, and we see that their percentage win rate on Clubhouse is definitely well deserved. It means they played it 13 times, and I'm not going to do the math because that's the level of math that I can't do. I mean, I was having trouble even trying to figure out how many rounds we were on. 5-2, that kind of thing. So, Motive with 11 kills, tied with Shrine. So, the 2 players that we kind of brought up earlier in the match is going to be enough to secure the match for Shrine, or I looked at Shrines just as I meant to say Revenue. But that's going to be it for us in terms of this match. We will be back in a bit around 10 o'clock as the rest of this round has to be finished up, and we're not quite sure which match we'll have. But until then, let's just kind of shout out the entire production team I have now. Ted Meister on the Observer, killing it. I am Intrinsic, in case you can't read the channel title. And I have been joined now by Cash as well as Brycer. So, really good cast from you two. And we will be back in 37 minutes and change. So, we'll see you then.